Can you believe it? Can you realize that you and I, that all of us, have actually begun the exploration of another world? We have taken the first historic step into our solar system. I am Wernher von Braun. This motion picture was produced to enable you to experience more personally and vividly the most dramatic events of the Apollo 11 story. You will be participating in the making of history. You will be taken along with the astronauts as they explore the unknown, share the thrill of discovery, and expand our understanding of the universe. We have made full use of modern technology to capture this experience on film, capsulized in time, but expanded into dimensions appropriate to the greatness of the achievement. The pictures and sounds are real, recorded in real time, where the action really was. So, come with us. We are going to the moon. Over 100 years ago, a science fiction writer imagined that men from planet Earth would one day make footprints on the moon. The science fiction of yesterday has become the modern history of today.
The enterprise of sending a satellite to the moon was now a living, accomplished fact. Its consequences defied all human calculation. We have undertaken a journey that, for length, danger, and novelty, for fascinating, soul-stirring, and delirious sensations, far surpasses the vividest realities of Dante's passionate dream. The three travelers shut up in the new satellite would gravitate around the mysterious Queen of the Night, and for the first time direct the unaided eye of man into the dark mysteries of her surface. Their names should be henceforth and forever written in letters of living light on the brightest pages of astronomical research.
Those thoughts were first expressed over 100 years ago by that scientific visionary, Jules Verne. Verne either foresaw the future with uncanny accuracy, or we have merely made his dreams come true. That great father of modern science fiction did not precisely describe this mighty Saturn. And Verne's projectile satellite was not nearly as sophisticated as the Apollo spacecraft, though Verne's vehicle did take 3 men around the moon in greater luxury. Has he now ceased to be the writer of science fiction and become instead the first space age historian? Can you believe that Verne propelled his earliest astronauts from Florida too? He even mentions Cape Canaveral as being within the ideal latitude for lunar launching. He gave us a vision of the space age over 100 years ago. The information center at Cape Kennedy is symbolic of the open society. Space age fans from all the 50 states assembled in Florida to see their home team take off for the moon. But there was more than national pride involved. The whole world was aware of Cape Kennedy, and the Cape Kennedy congregation was thinking of the world. You take a gamble when you tell the world your plans. The global audience had witnessed all our early failures. But when and if you do succeed, the whole world shares in the achievement. We knew the world was watching and listening and waiting with us. We knew we had the sympathetic thoughts of many, and millions prayed. Never before in human history had so many people in so many different places been so completely informed about a news event. And Apollo 11 was news, local, national, and global news. Instant history, recorded in real time.
Absorb the possible shock of a mission not completely successfully executed. I don't think it will happen, but it might.
Verne would have loved the Cape that day, July 15th, 1969, the day before Armstrong, Collins, and Aldrin were to blast off from the Earth on their journey to the moon. His prophetic book forecast countless spectators, though he might not have visualized that a small resort called Cocoa Beach would play host to more than 1 million guests.
Of space. Apollo 11 appears to have caused an epidemic of moon madness in certain parts of the world. From Tokyo to Toronto, Belgrade and Bonn, governments, newspapers, businesses, and public officials have all been moonstruck. In Japan, where millions will watch the lunar landing live on television broadcasts via satellite, the names of Apollo's crew, Neil Armstrong, Edwin Aldrin, and Michael Collins, are on everyone's lips. Right now, let's join an announcement from Jack King in Launch Control.
The astronaut crew for Apollo 11, Neil Armstrong, Michael Collins, and Edwin Aldrin in the suit room at the crew quarters here at the Kennedy Space Center.
The time is about T-minus 4 hours and counting. The giant Saturn had not slept that night, nor had any of the hundreds of loyal attendants, the scientists and engineers, the skilled technicians that made up the uniquely professional Apollo launch team. The leading actors in history's most impressive pageant made their entrances, dressed in expertly designed costumes so vital to the success of each man's performance. The curtain was going up on what was truly the greatest show on Earth before the largest single audience ever assembled. Dawn at the Cape on the 16th of July, 1969. In the minds of many was the emerging concept of a new era for mankind on planet Earth. Apollo, in the distant past, had represented dawn. Our primary purpose in going to the moon was to extend human knowledge. It has been said in most of mankind's history that scientific progress has developed most rapidly when men are fighting. Now the space program was accomplishing what war had always done before. For the first time, a non-military program was making enough demands on human knowledge, talent, and ingenuity. The space program had become the cutting edge for science and technology. Man needs a cutting edge as he hunts for the truth. The officially announced Apollo mission sounded so simple: perform a manned lunar landing and return.
Apollo Saturn Launch Control. Shortly, we'll expect astronauts Neil Armstrong and Michael Collins to come across Swing Arm 9, the Apollo Access Arm, and proceed to the White Room and stand by to board the spacecraft. The third member of the crew, astronaut Edwin Aldrin, who will be the last one to board the spacecraft, will stand by in the elevator, seated in a chair, while his two comrades first board the spacecraft. This is Launch Control.
Right now, here on the Kennedy Space Center WRKT trailer, it's like being in the middle of an international bazaar. We've got reporters here from every part of the world, and I mean just about every part. There's a rather colorful display of language going on all around us. The feeling, Bill, that we've always had when one of these things is getting right down to that tight wire is more pronounced now than it has been either in Apollo 8, 9, or 10. Somehow it's just being transferred to everybody.
Well, of course, we have considerably more people than we've had, too, on any previous shot as far as news media covering this thing. I'm not sure if there isn't some sort of a mass ESP right here this morning, Marty.
A short while ago, Launch Operations Manager Paul Donnelly, who checked in with the crew at the spacecraft, wished the crew good luck and Godspeed on behalf of the launch crew here in the firing room. The astronauts reported back, "Thank you very much. We know it will be a good flight." We are still counting, and we are go on the Apollo 11 count at this time. This is Kennedy Launch Control. This is Apollo Saturn Launch Control. We're at T-minus 10 minutes and counting. T-minus 10 on the countdown for Apollo 11. All elements of the count still proceeding satisfactorily at this time. At this point in the countdown, the prime crew for the mission, astronauts Neil Armstrong, Mike Collins, and Buzz Aldrin, busy in their spacecraft at the 320-foot level above the launch area at Complex 39. The spacecraft is now on full internal power on the power of its fuel cells. Up to this time, we've been sharing the load for the spacecraft power with an external power source. We've also been keeping a close eye on the lunar module, which will have the call sign Eagle once it separates from the spacecraft in lunar orbit. We have now powered down Eagle, and Eagle is reported go for launch. The astronauts have armed their rotational hand controllers, and we are continuing to count. We are still go with Apollo 11 at this time. This is Kennedy Launch Control. T-minus 35 seconds and counting. Countdown smooth at this time. T-minus 30 seconds and counting. We're on full internal power with the launch vehicle. Apollo 11 still go at this time. Guidance internal. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start.
I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal before this decade is out of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the Earth. No single space project in this period will be more impressive to mankind or more important for the long-range exploration of space, and none will be so difficult or expensive to accomplish.
We got skirt depth. Roger, we confirm skirt depth.
Immediately after liftoff, the responsibility for Apollo mission control had been transferred to the Manned Spacecraft Center in Houston, Texas. The Apollo 11 flight plan proceeded according to schedule. What had once been major milestones now seemed more like routine maneuvers. The insertion into circular parking orbit 100 nautical miles above the Earth, and then midway through the second orbit, the injection into translunar trajectory as Apollo passed over the Pacific. The command service module was separated from the Saturn third stage, turned around and docked, extracting the lunar module. After this seemingly complicated maneuver, Apollo 11 continues coasting to the moon.
It's getting a lot better now, 11. Mike, you coming in 5 by, I got a good...
Well, I put on a coat and tie if I'd known about this ahead of time.
Is Buzz holding your cue cards for you, over?
Cue cards have a no. We have no intention of competing with the professionals, believe me. We are very comfortable up here, though. We do have a happy home. There's plenty of room for the three of us, and I think we're all learning to find our favorite little corner to sit in. The Zero G is very comfortable, but...
Jules Verne's lunar projectile, which he called Columbia, was 12 feet long, 13 feet wide, and weighed 12,230 pounds. The Apollo command module has exactly the same dimensions and was just 160 pounds heavier, probably due to some of our sophisticated instrumentation.
The definition is really outstanding. The colors are good. It's a real good picture we're getting here of the Commander Armstrong. Buzz, when you take the camera over towards the window where the sun's shining through, it sends to blank it out, though.
Yeah, Neil's standing on his head again. He's trying to make me nervous.
During the relative calm of this phase of the mission, all the newsmen moved to Houston, soon to become, for the next few days, the information center of the world. Over 3,000 fully accredited correspondents, counting American and foreign newsmen, set up headquarters at the Manned Spacecraft Center.
This view is coming to us from about 129,000 nautical miles.
We seem to think of outer space as being empty, a vacuum, because it isn't full of anything material, like our Earth's atmosphere. It's hard for us to think of something full of nothing. Jules Verne thought of space as filled with something that he called that mysterious ether.
Earth, as we see it, at our left-hand window, just a little more than a half Earth. We're looking at the eastern Pacific Ocean, and the north half of the top half of the screen, we can see North America, Alaska, United States, Canada, Mexico, and Central America. South America becomes invisible just off beyond the terminator or inside the shadow. We can see the oceans with a definite blue cast, see white bands of major cloud formations across the Earth, and can see coastlines. Pick out the western U.S., San Joaquin Valley, the Sierra Mountain Range, the peninsula of Baja California, and can see some cloud formations over southeastern U.S. There's one definite mild storm southwest of Alaska. Looks like about 500 to 1,000 miles. And another very minor storm showing the south end of the screen near the, a long way south of the equator, probably 45 degrees or more south latitude.
Houston, that looks like the star chart coming into view now, over.
Yeah, those are Buzz's two star charts that he is using right now as sunshades over the right-hand window, window number 5.
Roger, we see the sun shining in through it behind him and plotting out the the ecliptic plane and the stars that you're using for the navigation.
You're right. He doesn't really need the charts. He's got them memorized. They're just for show.
We copy.
Well, we're pointing up in this direction. We see out our side windows the sun going by, and of course out one of our windows right now we've got the Earth. Now right behind my window, of course, we have the sun, because the sun is illuminating the star chart that we see. This line represents the ecliptic plane, and these lines, vertical lines, represent our reference system that the spacecraft is using at this time. As we approach the moon will gradually grow larger and larger in size, and eventually it will be in eclipse. It will be eclipsing the sun as we go behind it, as we approach the lunar orbit insertion maneuver. If we can get some of the wires untangled here, we'll give you a demonstration of how easy push-ups are up here.
Over, Roger. Good view of Buzz there.
The phenomenon of zero gravity, or at least the concept of weightlessness, was apparently quite familiar to Jules Verne.
Our travelers had been fully prepared for such a phenomenon. Yet, it struck them with surprise. They felt that their bodies were absolutely without weight. Their arms, fully extended, no longer sought their sides. Their heads oscillated. Their feet no longer rested on the floor. They looked like drunken men, trying to maintain the perpendicular.
Well, looks like it's probably almost your dinner time down there, Earth. We'll show you our food cabinet here in a second. 11, roger. These bite-sized objects were designed to remove the problem of having so many crumbs floating around in the cabin. So they designed a particular size that would be able to go into the mouth all at once. I think since all of our experience, we've discovered that we can progress a good bit further than that back to some of the type meals that we have on Earth. As a matter of fact, on this flight, we've carried along pieces of bread. And along with the bread, we have a ham spread. And I'll show you, I hope, how easy it is to spread some ham. Environment of 0G. We've discovered that it is quite easy to all very familiar with.
Apollo 11, Houston, we notice your roll rate increasing. Would you please see if you can bring that down to about 0 for us, so we'll be losing a high gain shortly, over.
We can also use zero gravity to demonstrate many things that we've all learned in school. I'd like to demonstrate briefly how easy it is to explain the action of a gyroscope. If I spin this can, we know that according to the equations of motion, that we would expect that if once this is given a spin and has a spin axis in this direction, if we give it a particular torque, and I'll do this by pushing my hands against it in this fashion once it's spinning, by the equations we can predict that as I put this torque on it, it will in fact rotate this direction. Let's see how well this works out. As I applied the torque this way, it rotated this way. Yeah, the food so far has been very good. We couldn't be happier with it. Roger. That flashlight a second. The surgeons are saying thank you there for that. And it is sort of down in a dark corner, so we have a flashlight here to help us see things. And if I can let go of it carefully, it'll just hold itself right where it is. Roger. As long as you disturb it, will.
Apollo 11, Houston, that's a pretty good demonstration. You started off really stable there, Mike. It's,
well, the problem is no matter how carefully you let go, you bump it just a tiny little bit, set it it in motion, and once in motion, there she goes. Try that again.
It looks fairly stable now with slow rotation.
Houston, this next is a little demonstration for the kids at home, all kids everywhere for that matter. I was going to show you how you drink water out of a spoon, but I'm afraid I filled the spoon too full, and if I'm not careful, I'm going to spill water right over the sides. Can you see the water slopping around in the top of the spoon, kids?
That's affirmative, 11.
Okay, well, as I say, I was going to show you, but I'm afraid I filled it too full, and it's going to spill over the sides. I tell you what, I'll just turn this one over and get rid of the water and start all over again, okay?
Okay.
And you can see up here we don't know where over is. One up is as good as another. That really is water, though, I'll show you. That's really not the way we drink. We really have a water gun, which I'll show you. There's the water gun. This cylindrical thing on the end of it is a filter with several membranes. One allows water to pass, but not any gas. The other allows gas to pass, but not any water. So by routing the gaseous water, which comes from our tank, through this filter, we're enabled to drink purified water without the gas in it, filtered water. And, of course, all we do to get it started is just pull the trigger. Sort of messy. I haven't been at this very long. It's sort of the same system that the Spaniards used to drink out of wineskins at bullfights. Only I think this is even more fun. Well, be seeing you, kids.
Thank you from all the kids in the world here in the Moker who can't tell the Earth from the moon.
Well, so much for the food department. I'm going to close up the store down here. Charlie, we checked out the cable lengths, and we're thinking we might want to see if we can take the TV into the LEM with us tomorrow for part of the time. Over.
Roger. Good show. We'd like to see it if it'll reach that far. Over.
We'll give it a try.
Roger. Apollo 11, Houston, could you give the folks a view of your patch if on your CWGs, over?
Yeah, stand where I went, Charlie. We're trying to give you a close-up.
All right. Apollo 11, Houston, that's very good now. We can see the Earth in the background, Apollo 11, and the Eagle coming in.
Probably pretty hard to see the olive branch, isn't it?
Roger, it is.
Well, that's what he has in his talons, is an olive branch.
Copy. Apollo 11, Houston, we're really impressed with the clarity and the detail that we have in the picture. The colors are, now it's really an excellent picture now that I'm looking at on our monitor, which is about 12 seconds before the networks can get it out due to the conversion that we have here on our TV converter. We're looking at the controls and display, the main display console, and we can see the diskey up on the panel. Over.
Yeah, it'd be nice if you could take a look at all the circuit breakers, make sure the right ones are in and the right ones are out.
All right, Big Brother's watching.
Yeah, we're glad of it. Okay, and then directly behind his head are our optical instruments, the sextant and the telescope that we use to take sightings with.
All right, copy, and we see the diskey flashing with a 651.
The onboard computer helps providing answers to questions like this. Where am I? What corrective thrust maneuver is required? Or how do we best plan a rendezvous with the lunar module?
That's a beautiful picture. Clarity is outstanding.
We can also give you the time of day in our system of mission elapsed time, 34 hours, 16 minutes, and umpteen seconds.
Roger.
Can you see that clearly enough, Charlie?
Roger, Apollo 11. We can see it counting up every second. We got 34:17:02 now.
Okay, back to the high gain angles.
Roger.
Guten Tag, meine Damen und Herren. In Deutschland inzwischen wurde vom Mission Control Center der NASA hier in Houston bestätigt, dass die Astronauten 2 zusätzliche Stunden Schlaf bekommen, da das 4. Kursmanöver wegen der Präzision des Fluges unnötig geworden ist. Das heißt, dass die Astronauten gegen 13:30 Uhr mitteleuropäischer Zeit geweckt werden.
私たちは、今度の宇宙飛行士たちを静かな真面目な宇宙飛行士と呼ばなければなりません。私たちはこの前のアポロ10号の宇宙飛行士たちをおしゃべり飛行士と呼んで、その話を。
Like it's a little bit easier than doing that in the chamber.
You bet. It's the only way to take it easy. It's pretty massive, but it goes where you direct it. Place where the tool B goes.
Right. Great shot now, back down into the...
And left on me.
Go ahead, Buzz, over.
Say again.
I'm just saying we got a great shot looking back into the command module.
Okay. Yeah, on the left detent I can see the AO, or the rendezvous radar, and when I move to the forward detent, that's about all I've got. I'm looking eyeball to eyeball.
Right.
Neil Armstrong has apparently been holding the camera, looking back down through the tunnel, and it appears now that he's handed the camera to Buzz Aldrin. This view is still looking back through the tunnel. We see Mike Collins in the background there.
Charlie, is there any concern about the duration that we ought to have the window shades open? We don't have any circulation in here, and might get a little on the warm side.
Raj.
Clear picture from this angle.
We found the 90-degree bracket. Roger, Neil. It's really a super picture. We've got the ACA, your ACA, the good picture of the throttle, the 90-degree bracket. We see the start your handles, and now over to the bracket.
This specially adapted variable speed 16mm camera was installed to record in color the lunar surface activities that could be covered within its field of view. When both Armstrong and Aldrin are on the surface, the camera will be adjusted so that only one picture will be exposed each second.
That's about the position we'll be putting the camera in after the initial descent down the ladder. And it'll be taking 1 frame a second for most of the EVA. We're giving you a picture now of the floor of the cabin. I think you can see the one of the 2 portable life support systems backpacks here in the center. And on each side we have the 2 helmet visors. I'll remove one of them and show you a little closer view of what this looks like. Roger. Inside the helmet visors are the EVA gloves with the blue tips. I'll not take those out now. Roger, Buzz, that's a great shot now that we're getting of the helmet, of the EVA visor, and also the EVA gloves in the background. Okay, you did say this was going out now, didn't you? Stand by, I think so. You got a pretty big audience. It's live in the U.S., it's going live to Japan, Western Europe, and much of South America. Everybody reports very good color. Appreciate the great show. Roger, understand. Thank you. That's a good view of Mr. Collins down there. We finally see him again. Hello there, Earthling. Hello there.
The correspondent from Mexico was communicating his concern about the Soviet Lunik 15, then orbiting the moon. We had a little concern about it ourselves.
Se oli ollut 2 sekuntia liian pitkä, eli lähes täydellisen onnistunut.
We show you an altitude now of about 110 miles, and of course you'd be considerably lower at the initiation of powered descent. We got Langrenus in our screen now. 11, this is Houston. We're getting a beautiful picture of Langrenus now with its rather conspicuous central peak.
Sea of Fertility doesn't look very fertile to me. I don't know who named it. Well, it may have been named by a gentleman whom this crater was named after, Langrenus. Langrenus was a cartographer to the King of Spain and made one of the early reasonably accurate maps of the moon. All right, that should put the LEM structure about in focus. Now I'm going to move it out to infinity and then expand the field of view. Crater Secchi is out my window now, window number 2.
Apollo 11, this is Houston. We show you coming up on the Terminator at 78:53, about 7 minutes from now. And we've also got the LOI-2 and TEI-5 pads ready for you after the TV, whenever you want to terminate over.
After several orbits around the lunar surface, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin transferred to the lunar module. With Mike Collins left alone in the command service module, the Eagle was undocked from the Columbia and was ready to begin the powered descent. Even here, Verne had preceded us over 100 years before in his creative imagination.
This descent would still be violent enough to dash the projectile into 1,000 pieces. But it could hardly be doubted that powerful rockets fastened to the bottom of the projectile could, when discharged, considerably retard the velocity of the fall by their sturdy recoil. They could burn in a vacuum by means of oxygen furnished by themselves.
Eagle, we got you now. It's looking good, over. Eagle, that looks good. Eagle, Houston, everything's looking good here, over. Roger, copy. Eagle, Houston, after yaw around, angled, S-band pitch, -9er, yaw, +18. Staying the degree very closely. Roger. Bait on. Altitude's a little high. Houston, I'm getting a little fluctuation in the AC voltage now. Roger. 50 meter maybe, huh? Stand by. Looking good to us. Deep, looks real good. Hold it. Hold on. Our position check downrange shows to be a little off. Roger, copy. Well, I think it's going to stop. And Eagle, Houston, we got data dropout. You're still looking good. We got good lock on. Altitude lights out. LH is -2,900. Roger, we copy. That's the Earth, right out our front window. Houston, you're looking at our Delta H. That's affirmative. Program alarm. Looking good to us, over. Okay, I'm still on flu, so we may tend to lose as we gradually pitch over. Let me try auto again now, see what happens.
Roger.
Okay, looks like it's home.
Roger, we got good data. Eagle Houston, it's descent to fuel to monitor, over.
Going to 2.
Correction on that velocity, now reading 760 feet per second.
It's the P-64.
Good. Roger.
830, you're looking great.
The 1202. 1202. Give us a reading on the 1202 program alarm.
Roger, we got you. We're going at alarm.
Roger. 330.
6 plus 25, throttle down. 6 plus 25, throttle down.
Roger, copy. 6 plus 25. Same alarm, and it appears to come up when we have a 1668 up.
Roger, copy. Eagle Houston, we'll monitor your Delta 8.
Beautiful. Forward. 60 seconds. Lights on. Down 2.5. Forward. Forward. 40 feet down 2.5. Picking up some dust. 30 feet, 2.5 down. Straight shadow. 4 forward. 4 forward, drift into the right a little. Back light. Okay, engine stop. 413 is in.
We copy you down, Eagle.
Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
Man walks on the moon. Man walks on the moon. The first man from Earth walked on the surface of the moon this morning, and the suspense here in London is unbelievable.
Okay, Neil, we can see you coming down the ladder now.
Neil, we can see you coming. Okay, I just checked getting back up to that first step. That isn't collapsed too far, but it's adequate to get back up.
Roger, we copy.
It's a pretty good little jump.
Buzz, this is Houston. F2, I'm at the 1/160th second for shadow photography on the sequence camera.
Okay. I'm at the foot of the ladder. The LEM footbeds are only depressed in the surface about 1 or 2 inches, although the surface appears to be very, very fine-grained as you get close to it. It's almost like a powder. Ground mass is very fine. I'm going to step off the LEM now. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. As the surface is fine and powdery, I can pick it up loosely with my toe. It does adhere in fine layers, like powdered charcoal, to the
of my boot. I only go in a small fraction of an inch, maybe an eighth of an inch, but I can see the footprints of my boots and the treads in the fine sandy particles.
Neil, this is Houston. We're copying.
There seems to be no difficulty in moving around as we suspected. It's even perhaps easier than the simulations of 16G that we performed.
Roger, Neil, we're reading you loud and clear. Let's see, getting some pictures and the contingency sample.
35.5 minutes of PLSS time expended now.
Neil, this is Houston. Did you copy about the contingency sample? Over.
All right, you're going to get to that just as soon as I finish these picture series.
Okay, going to get the contingency sample there, Neil?
Right.
Okay, I'm on the top step, and I can look down over the RCU and landing gear pad. It's a very simple matter to hop down from one step to the next.
Yes, I found it to be very comfortable, and walking is also very comfortable. You've got 3 more steps and then a long one.
Okay, I'm going to leave that 1 foot up there and both hands down about the 4th rung up.
There you go.
Okay, now I think I'll do the same.
A little more. About another inch. There, you got it?
That's a good step.
Yep. About a 3-footer.
Beautiful view.
Isn't that something? Magnificent sight out here.
Magnificent desolation.
Both PLSS is nominal on consumables.
Looks like the secondary strut have little thermal effects on it right here, Neil.
Yeah, I noticed that. Seems to be the worst, although similar effects are on all around.
Neil is now unveiling the plaque that is.
Roger, we got you bore-sighted, but back to one side.
Bore-sighted.
For those who haven't read the plaque, we'll read the plaque that's on the front landing gear of this LEM. There's 2 hemispheres, one showing each of the 2 hemispheres of Earth. Underneath it says, "Dear men from the planet Earth, first set foot upon the moon, July 1969 AD. It came in peace for all mankind." It has the crew members' signatures and the signature of the President of the United States.
I'll get it. There, you're taking TV on now. Let them get a view from there and see what the field of view looks like. They're backing into the cable.
Okay.
Turn around to your right, be better.
I don't want to go into the sun if I can avoid it.
That's right, yeah.
I'll just leave it.
All right, let it
sit like that and walk around it.
Houston, how's that field of view going to be? Pick up the Mesa. Long way?
Neil, this is Houston. The field of view is okay. We'd like you to aim it a little bit more to the right, over.
Okay.
Okay, that's all the cable we have. All the way out. I'll start working on the shoulder.
A little bit too much to the right. Can you bring it back left about 4 or 5 degrees? Okay, that looks good, Neil.
Hey, that looks good, Neil. Okay, now, think I ought to be farther away or closer?
Can't get too much further away.
Let's try it like that for a while. I'll get a couple panoramas with it here.
Roger, you look okay as far as distance goes, Neil, and we'll line you up again when you finish the panorama. You're going too fast on the panorama sweep. You're going to have to stop for...
I haven't stopped. I haven't set it down yet. That's the first picture in the panorama. Right there.
Roger.
It's taken just about northeast. Tell me if you got a picture, Houston.
Well, we've got a beautiful picture, Neil.
Okay, I'm going to move it.
Okay, there's another good one.
There's another.
Okay, we got that one.
Okay, now this one's right down sun, straight west. And I want to know if you can see an angular rock in the foreground.
Roger, we have a large angular rock in the foreground, and looks like a much smaller rock a couple of inches to the left of it, over.
Neil Armstrong's been on the lunar surface now almost 45 minutes.
It's bad. I don't have someone. Columbia on the high gain, over.
Columbia, this is Houston reading you loud and clear, over.
Yeah, this is Houston reading.
Roger, the EVA is progressing beautifully.
How is the quality of the TV?
Oh, it's beautiful, Mike, it really is. They've got the flag up now, and you can see the stars and stripes on the lunar surface.
We have followed out the grandest idea that ever set a human brain on fire. It is to take possession of the moon in the name of the United States of America. It is to add a 39th state of the glorious Union.
Well, even Jules Verne could make a human error. Our world had become a little different by the time we had admitted 50 states. Verne did not foresee a day when a free nation would send its explorers to the moon to claim the lunar land in the name of all mankind.
I'd like to evaluate the various paces that a person can traveling on the lunar surface. I believe I'm out of your field of view. Is that right now, Houston?
That's affirmative, Buzz. You're in our field of view now.
You do have to be. All right, you do have to be rather careful to keep track of where your center of mass is. Sometimes it takes about 2 or 3 paces to make sure that you've got your feet underneath you. And about 2 or 3 or maybe 4 easy paces can bring you to a fairly smooth stop. Direction. Like a football player, you just have to put out to the side and cut a little bit. So-called kangaroo hop does work, but it seems your forward stability is not quite as good as it is in the more conventional.
It was very important to all future lunar exploration to evaluate exactly how man would be able to perform on the moon and combat as he was with the pressurized spacesuits and heavy backpacks. At least they were heavy back home. But in the moon's gravitational field, only 1/6 as strong as the Earth. Much of man's burden is lifted, and so, it seemed, was man's spirit. When one considers that Armstrong and Aldrin are leaping about like that and already performing useful tasks of scientific value in a total vacuum, in an extremes of temperature that could approach 200 degrees Fahrenheit in the direct sunlight and minus 200 degrees in the shade, the life support equipment that had been developed for men on the moon seems to be performing very well.
Tranquility Base, this is Houston. Could we get both of you on the camera for a minute, please?
Say again, Houston.
Roger, we'd like to get both of you in the field of view of the camera for a minute.
Roger, we'd like to get both of you in the field of view of the camera for a minute.
Neil and Buzz, the President of the United States is in his office now and would like to say a few words to you. Over.
That would be an honor.
Go ahead, Mr. President. This is Houston out.
Hello, Neil and Buzz. I'm talking to you by telephone from the Oval Room at the White House. And this certainly has to be the most historic telephone call ever made from the White House. I just can't tell you how proud we all are of what you have done. For every American, this has to be the proudest day of our lives. And for people all over the world, I am sure that they too join with Americans in recognizing what an immense feat this is. Because of what you have done, the heavens have become a part of man's world. And as you talk to us from the Sea of Tranquility, it inspires us to redouble our efforts to bring peace and tranquility to Earth. For one priceless moment in the whole history of man, all the people on this earth are truly one. One in their pride in what you have done, and one in our prayers that you will return safely to Earth.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's a great honor and privilege for us to be here representing not only the United States, but men of peace of all nations, and with interest and a curiosity and with a vision for the future. Honor for us to be able to participate here today.
And thank you very much, and I look forward, all of us look forward to seeing you on the Hornet on Thursday.
Buzz, this is Houston. It's about time for you to start your EVA closeout activities.
Roger.
They've been on their life support system. On their life support systems, 2 hours and 25 minutes. Neil appears to be picking up rocks to the right of the screen.
Neil and Buzz, this is Houston. I'd like to remind you of the close-up camera magazine before you start up the ladder, Buzz.
Okay. Got that over with you, Neil?
Now that close-up camera's underneath the mesa, I'll have to pick it up with the tongue. And I'm picking up several pieces of really vesicular rock out here now.
You didn't get anything in those environmental samples, did you?
Not yet.
I don't think we'll have time.
Roger, Neil and Buzz. Let's press on with getting the close-up camera magazine and closing out of the sample return container. You're running a little low on time.
Roger.
We want to keep a good margin in those portable life support systems.
Okay, can you quickly pick this in my pocket, Neil, and I'll head on up the ladder.
Man's artifacts, the products of his mind, his hands, his talents, and his energies, have now been left upon the lunar soil. For thousands of years, the moon has made her impression upon man and planet Earth. Now man, from planet Earth, has made his impression on the moon. How must those men feel? What must they think as they reflect upon what we have called so technically, so unemotionally, their extravehicular activity, their EVA? Perhaps we may never know exactly how they felt as they leaped about on the desolate magnificence of the lunar landscape. But remember what we can do if we can just imagine.
Roll right just a little bit. Head down. And in good shape.
Thank you.
Now move your foot and I'll get the hatch.
Among those many footprints, one might imagine, could be one or two made by Jules Verne. At least he'd been there many times in spirit.
recommendation is pings, and you're cleared for takeoff.
Roger, understand. We're number 1 on the runway. Beautiful. 26, 36 feet per second up. 5 to the pitch over.
Feet high, 80 feet per second vertical rise. Houston, 1 minute, you're looking good.
Roger. 100, 150 up, beautiful. 9,000. 350 to go. And the engine arm. 90, okay, off, 50. Step down.
To Mike Collins, the tiny flashing light symbolized a happy reunion with 2 of the very closest of traveling companions. Eagle was rejoining Columbia to become Apollo 11 once again. The Eagle ascent stage was not designed to survive the rigors of re-entry. To bring its human crew safely back to Earth, it must first rendezvous with Collins in Columbia. When Armstrong and Aldrin have crawled back into the Apollo command module, the empty Eagle is jettisoned. Though it should have been retired with honors, there just didn't seem to be any easy way to get it back into a museum. During the final lunar orbit, once again on the far side of the moon, the service rocket engine is fired to send the astronauts back home. Not many men have witnessed an Earth rise, nor viewed our planetary home from such a distance. Perhaps what men on Earth need most is to realize that their planet is truly one of the heavenly bodies.
Good evening. I'd like to discuss with you a few of the more symbolic aspects of the flight of our mission Apollo 11. As we've been discussing the events that have taken place in the past 2 or 3 days here on board our spacecraft, we've come to the conclusion that this has been far more than 3 men on a voyage to the moon. More still than the efforts of a government and industry team. More even than the efforts of one nation. We feel that this stands as a symbol of the insatiable curiosity of all mankind to explore the unknown. Neil's statement the other day upon first setting foot on the surface of the moon, "This is a small step for a man, but a great leap for mankind," I believe sums up these feelings very nicely. We accepted the challenge of going to the moon. The acceptance of this challenge was inevitable. The relative ease with which we carried out our mission, I believe, is a tribute to the timeliness of that acceptance. Today, I feel we're fully capable of accepting expanded roles in the exploration of space. In retrospect, we have all been particularly pleased with the call signs that we very laboriously chose for our spacecraft, Columbia and Eagle. We've been particularly pleased with the emblem of our flight, depicting the U.S. Eagle, bringing the universal symbol of peace from the Earth, from the planet Earth, to the moon, that symbol being the olive branch. It was our overall crew choice to deposit a replica of this symbol on the moon. Personally, in reflecting the events of the past several days, a verse from the Psalms comes to mind to me. When I consider the heavens, the work of thy fingers, the moon and the stars which thou hast ordained, What is man that thou art mindful of him? The responsibility for this flight lies first with history and with the giants of science who have preceded this effort. Next to the American people, who have, through their will, indicated their desire. Next to 4 administrations and their Congresses for implementing that will. And then to the agency and industry teams that built our spacecraft. The Saturn, the Columbia, the Eagle, and the little EMU, the spacesuit and backpack that was our small spacecraft out on the lunar surface. We'd like to give a special thanks to all those Americans who built those spacecraft, who did the construction, design, the test, and put their heart and all their abilities into those craft. To those people, tonight we give a special thank you. And to all the other people that are listening and watching tonight, God bless you. Good night from Apollo 11.
Apollo 11, Houston, you're still looking mighty fine here. You're cleared for landing.
Yeah, we appreciate that, Roger.
Roger, here, stand on. Roger.
When our man-made Apollo spacecraft begins to come in contact with our outer atmosphere at over 36,000 feet per second, the friction generates temperatures in the thousands of degrees. You remember John Glenn's description of his Mercury re-entry. It's a real fireball. We have designed the capsule heat shield to very slowly burn up or ablate, to permit the atmosphere to decelerate the man-made meteor, while the Apollo crew inside the capsule enjoys all the comforts of an air-conditioned cockpit. This space-age phenomenon was also seen in Verne's imagination. He described the scene from the viewpoint of the recovery teams, waiting on the surface down below.
Looking upward, they saw that the strange whistling scream proceeded from a ball of dazzling brightness directly over their heads, and evidently falling towards them at tremendous velocity. They could see that in its light, the whole sea glittered like a silver lake. It flashed before their eyes for a second. An enormous meteor set in fire by friction with the atmosphere.
President Nixon said that every man achieves his own greatness by reaching out beyond himself. And so it is with nations. And so we must reach out again, beyond ourselves, and look to the challenges that face us in the space future. We must look beyond Tranquility Base. The lunar landing was a product of the American people, but it was more. It was a reaching out in the name of peace, shared by the United States in genuine brotherhood with all nations and with all mankind.